Hey everybody, welcome back to Record-ology. I hope you're having a great day. Today we're going to be looking at the Crosley Mini Cruiser. First, there was the 8-band 3-inch record player. Then there was the Crosley RSD3 3-inch record player. And now is the Mini Cruiser. And this is surely going to be the best of all 3-inch record players because they made some amazing and very interesting changes. You're not going to want to miss this.
This is Record-ology.
All right, here we go. Here is a regular suitcase player, and just for size comparison, here is the new Crosley Mini Cruiser. So it's the same basic design, it's just smaller, and it plays 3-inch records. So it's not going to play 33s, it's not going to play 45s. I should say it's not going to play 12-inch records or 7-inch records. It's going to play 3-inch records, which incidentally happen to be 33 RPM, but that's a subject for a different day. As always, I love the packaging from Crosley. Here are some of the features on the size. It's a 3-inch record player. It's got pitch control. It's got a USB power supply. It will transmit Bluetooth, which is huge. That means it'll send the audio to a Bluetooth speaker. And speaking of speakers, it's got stereo speakers built in. So this should be a big step up from the previous 3-inch record player from Crosley, which is the RSD3. We'll look at that in a little bit closer detail. But for now, let's unbox it here. You've got your typical warranty information. You're going to want to hold on to all of this. It's important to have the instruction manual. You never know when down the road you're going to try and do some function, perhaps pair the Bluetooth, and you're not going to know exactly how to do that. So definitely want to have that on hand. Now, as I further unpack this, I'm reminded of a viewer recently that told me the reason why they put that little piece of cardboard right on the top there is to protect it from like a razor blade if you're opening the box, which does make sense. And speaking of packed in, this thing is packed in tight. These end pieces, these styrofoam pieces, were really difficult to get off, but that's good. That means it's packaged well, it's packaged firmly. There's a lot of cardboard pieces and plastic to make sure that this arrives to you in good condition, which is what we want, obviously. So here is the outer bag. I'm going to go ahead and take that off. I'm really bad about ripping these off, but sometimes if I want to store it or sell it down the road, it's good to have that packing material. The battery compartment has this film on there, so you can pull that off. It will run off of batteries or a USB cable, which we're going to do here in a minute, and even a piece of plastic on the inside. Now, look at this thing. It's awesome. You'll notice right off the bat the biggest difference between this and the RSD3, aside from the overall design element, the RSD3 kind of looks like a miniature C100, and this is a miniature cruiser. But you're going to notice that red tip stylus, and you may be saying, oh, that's no good. The other one had the Audio-Technica magnetic cartridge. That's better. Well, in this situation, I would actually argue that a ceramic cartridge is better because it's lower compliance. That means that the stylus and the cantilever are a little stiffer, and it takes a little bit more to get them to move. If you remember, there was quite a bit of wow and flutter on some of those RSD3s. So hopefully the lower compliance ceramic cartridge will really help in that regard. We've got the rubberized feet, the metal corners. Really, this thing has everything that a cruiser has. It's super cool, and I love the design. It would look awesome on the shelf. From a design standpoint alone, so far, I can tell this is a major winner. Okay, on the back panel here, plugging in our 5-volt power supply. There's also a headphone jack, which can double as an audio output, as well as the Bluetooth switch and the date code up there as well. So simply plug the other end of the USB cable into a USB power brick that's not provided, and then plug that into the wall, and you are ready to go. Now, for comparison-wise, here's the RSD3. You can see the Crosley Mini Cruiser is actually significantly larger. And if you look at these side by side, you may be noticing some similarities, which we'll get to in a minute. We've got the platter with a built-in felt platter mat, the power/volume knob, the Bluetooth light, the spindle adapter, the counterbalance, and even an S-shaped tone arm. But don't forget the pitch slider, which goes up and down 10%, approximately. But look at this, you guys. If you notice this, we've got the same platter as the RSD3, the same tone arm, the same head shell, the same pitch slider. It's very, very similar. So I'm wondering how much of the components are really different under the hood. The biggest difference, obviously, is this. So here is the Audio-Technica magnetic cartridge on the RSD3 and the ceramic cartridge on the Mini Cruiser. You notice we have a plastic cantilever and probably a ruby or sapphire tip. Usually that's not ideal, but it's going to be lower compliance. Maybe in this scenario it would be. This is a single speaker unit, the RSD3, whereas the Mini Cruiser has 2 stereo speakers, and that's a good thing. Here's a close-up shot of the speaker grill. This seems to be made with the same materials as a Cruiser, so it feels really rugged. Okay, let's go ahead and listen to some of these awesome little colorful Disney records on the RSD3, and we'll use this as a baseline to see if that ceramic cartridge on the Mini Cruiser really does improve the sound and eliminate that wow and flutter, which is sort of that warbly sound. Okay, so here's a sound test.
I can see what's happening. What? And they don't have a clue. Oh, they'll fall in.
Okay, actually sounds really clear, but wait a minute. This is a weird problem. So as soon as I put the tone arm over the record and drop the stylus onto it, it seems like the pressure from the tone arm is forcing the platter to stop spinning. This is not good. What in the world? Do we have an issue with the belt, perhaps? I'm going to push it down and try it one more time. It just seems like as soon as the tone arm or the stylus is on the record, the platter can't spin anymore. And I wonder if it's got like a loose belt or something's going on with a motor spindle. So we're going to have to check this out. I'm not exactly sure what could be causing this. It looks like we may have a bit of an issue here. So that's a good excuse for me to open up the hood, which I'm going to do now. So as I will soon discover in this process, you can't take the plinth all the way off. I actually stripped one of the screws on the other side. So I just wedged it up a little bit so we could peek under there anyway. And it wasn't really where we wanted to be to solve the problem, it turns out. But I thought it was interesting just to see what it's like on the inside. Very interesting construction. What we really want to do is drill down literally into the platter itself. You can take that apart from the top. This is a belt-driven turntable, and the belt is connected to a motor pulley, which is really close to the platter. And as you can see, it looks loose. So, I didn't go to school for nothing. I bet you we can fix this. Looks like we just need to create some tension on that belt. We could probably do that by increasing the diameter of that brass pulley. And while we've got it off, a friend of mine recommended cleaning it down with some alcohol, the spindle pulley underneath. And hopefully that will help clean it. I don't know how it would help the problem, but here is the brass pulley itself. Nothing a little electrical tape can't fix. I think you can fix anything with electrical tape. I think what we need to do here is cut a tiny piece that we can wrap around that spindle or that little pulley. So I'm going to use my little X-Acto knife and try to wrap it around there. It's really hard to film that, by the way, but here's the end product, the end result. We definitely widened it a bit. So I'm going to go ahead and put it on, turn it on, and see if that helps. It seems like we got better tension. But alas, it runs right off the pulley because the shape, the bevel of the pulley itself is part of what keeps that belt in place, so that didn't help. But while I'm here, I noticed that the real problem isn't the platter stopping, it's just the record stopping, and then I start to suspect that it has more to do with that little spindle adapter right on top. I think it's lifting up the record too high, and it won't allow it to touch the felt platter mat, thus getting the traction. So I put the spindle on upside down, and that seemed to do the trick. Make sure the record is laying flat, and it works perfectly. And now that we got it working perfectly, let's listen to a direct feed sound test of this unit and really give it a listen.
You just remember what your old past said. Boy, you got a friend in me.
Ready to know what the people know. Ask them my questions and get some answers. Unbelievable sights, indescribable feelings. In perfect harmony.
Hey Google, pair Bluetooth.
Got it. To connect, open Bluetooth settings and look for the device called kitchen speaker.
Okay, and now let's give the Bluetooth connection a little bit of a listen here.
And if he falls in love.
So at the end of the day, mine worked fine. It's just that I didn't understand that little spindle adapter needed to be pushed down all the way. And if yours still isn't quite fitting the right way, just flip it upside down like I did. And then everything worked as it should. I think that the sound quality on this is comparable to the RSD3. I don't notice a whole lot of change. There's still a little bit of wow and flutter there, but this is a novelty piece. And for that, it does a good job. And it's a fun little device. I would recommend it.
Okay, guys, wasn't that really, really cool? I love these things. You guys know I love this stuff. And there's more coming in the way of 3-inch records and maybe equipment too down the road. I'm not aware of anything. But when I saw this at CES, I thought it was super cool. There's even like a little mini record case, and they had a display with like a mini couch and stuff. I just think it's cool. I love the miniature stuff. So anyway, I hope you thought that was interesting. If you want to get one for your own, click on the link in the description below. But that's all for today. So happy record listening, and we'll catch you next time.